What's going on, guys? We are back with a brand new episode on the arcade channel, Unlocking the Realm. My name's Hyro.
My name's Fight.
And it's been a big week for Marvel fans out there.
Yeah, Disney bought rights from Fox or something like that.
They did. And the first IP that they kind of worked on is Deadpool and Wolverine.
The Deadpool and the Wolverine.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Team Deadpool.
Hey, a Team Wolverine. You already know. We got the shirts out. Culture King. Shout out Culture Kings, man.
Yeah, big shout out in Vegas.
Hashtag not sponsored.
No, very much not sponsored. All right, so let's jump into this. For those of you that have not watched the movie yet, the first part of this video will be spoiler free, so feel free to keep watching it, get our general opinions on it, get our ratings, things like that. Then we'll jump into a spoiler aspect where we start talking about parts of the actual movie. So look for that spoiler warning. Do not stay after that spoiler warning unless you want the movie spoiled for you.
Yeah, click off the video. Make sure you like the video before you click off, first of all. But go watch the movie before.
Yeah,
because we're about to ruin the movie for you.
It's just completely opposite of what I just said.
We're gonna ruin the movie.
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna jump into spoilers. No spoiler free.
No. But it's been a big week for Marvel fans out there. Mm-hmm. Before we get into the movie, because I know we're not going to be able to react to some Marvel for quite a bit of time. Mm-hmm. I think the next one's Venom 3 that comes out.
I'm excited.
Right? That one's going to be dope. But, I think we could talk a little bit about Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things reveals that got out there was Doctor Doom.
Yeah, and you pointed out the Secret Wars and Doctor Doom color schemes.
Yep.
So if you want to talk about that, I want to take your thunder.
Yeah. So on Avengers, it was originally called Avengers 5. So Avengers Kang Dynasty and then Avengers Secret Wars. So Kang Dynasty had to get replaced because of Jonathan Majors no longer being the actor for Kang. So they had to pivot to Doctor Doom. Mm-hmm. So on the color schemes now, Avengers 5 is Doomsday, which is Doctor Doom's colors.
Yep.
So shout out RDJ, playing Doctor Doom. I really like that role.
I like it, but I don't feel like Iron Man and Doctor Doom are too terribly different.
Yeah.
Character-wise, I would say different worlds, kind of same character.
Yeah, I feel like that's spot on because you have a billion I can't talk. A billionaire person and another billionaire just doing cool things with the money they spent. Yeah,
and not necessarily for bad reasons to start with either.
Yeah, I think as time proceeds, Doctor Doom, it gets a little of especially during the last couple of decades, mm-hmm. he's went from just being a villain to an anti-villain. Yep. So I mean, I could see RDJ playing a great Doctor Doom.
Which, listen, I'm all for just complete villain.
Yeah,
all for it. We have our anti-villains, or anti-heroes. We don't really need anymore.
Yeah,
let them stay in their space. Make him a freaking villain.
That would be cool, man. One thing I would love to see RDJ do, and it's in the comics, which is everyone will know this, and we could pull up, in the video about the comic strips. You can see this comic strip is when Doctor Doom. I have this Funko Pop of Doctor Doom being in a white cloak. He goes to Thanos and goes, "You don't have the Infinity Gauntlet anymore." He goes, "No, but I'm Thanos, the Mad Titan. That's all you'll need." And he goes, "Interesting." He hits Thanos. He grabs him. He impacts his chest. And then he takes his whole spine and skull out of Thanos.
Mortal Kombat style.
And he goes, And then he's just dead. I hope listen, we got Deadpool and Wolverine rated R. Mm-hmm. If RDJ can pull that off against Thanos, I think that would be epic.
And RDJ is the poster boy for Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. As much as I love Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds is coming in and brought this wonderful rated R IP to Disney, which is mind-blowing.
Yep.
RDJ is the poster child, so if he wants it done, he might be able to get it done. And
that's what leads me to him being the poster child. We all knew he was coming back, man. We all knew. There was always hints in the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years.
I called it after the ending. You just couldn't End Wars, you can't end it that way.
Yeah, you can't, dude. And then when we got the possibility of when Doctor Strange came out, Multiverse of Madness,
Yep.
Potentially was rumors Tony Stark was gonna come back and he was gonna be.
I mean, you have multiverse in Marvel. There's however many Tony Starks out there. I mean,
exactly. It's like we all thought that he was gonna come back during the Doctor Strange part of being like this Tony Stark that controls the Ultrons and all this bad Tony. He wasn't, but it's like okay, now they made it kind of make sense, right? And the cool thing is what I like about this IP heading into the next year. So this Doomsday doesn't come out till May 2025 or 2026. Then we lead into a whole year of Marvel IPs and whatever movies are going to come out. But we end with May 2026, I believe, or 2027 as Avengers Secret Wars. So if you notice Secret Wars, the original color scheme was the black and white suit from Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because Spider-Man plays a big role in Secret Wars, but so does Iron Man. And now the color schemes of the Avengers Secret Wars logo is now Iron Man color scheme.
Yep.
So that's telling me that RDJ is not only coming back as Doctor Doom, but also the following year as Iron Man himself. And I'm thinking how it's going to work is that there's gonna be two RDJs on screen at the same time.
Yeah. And I know this is going to get a little further away, but I saw this recently on Twitter. Somebody was talking about how we live in the best cinematic time period for movies. And if you look throughout movie history, there's definitely themes with movies, and we're in that superhero theme.
Yeah.
How do you feel about superhero themes being the best cinematic themes for movies?
I mean, listen, I think the last year and a half has been really rough for Marvel. I think there was just too many shows, too many movies coming out. I wasn't a fan of. I mean, as a Marvel nerd, I was a fan of it because I get to watch it all day long.
Yeah.
But as someone who doesn't watch Marvel all the time, it's like I have no idea what's going on. I like it. I like the aspects of the movies, but I think it's just too much right now.
See, people are gonna hate me for this. I loved. Was it Secret Wars, the TV show, or what's the name of the TV show?
Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I loved Secret Invasion because it paints the picture behind the scenes. It's not superheroes flying around doing cool ass shit.
Right.
It's modern day people fighting against the Kree and the offset of the Kree. And that to me was interesting. It's almost the same reason for Star Wars. I loved Andor.
Yeah.
Because Andor was a lot more of the espionage that set up the events that happened.
Yeah. See, my only problem with, not to get too sidetracked on Secret Wars, but my only problem with Secret Wars is that I wish there was more of a superhero feel with the scrolls. Like the scroll, the main scroll, the main bad scroll.
Did I say Kree?
Huh?
Did I say Kree?
You did say
I
Kree.
said Kree.
It's all
I'm
right.
gonna get hate for that.
It's all right. The main bad guy of the Skrulls is like Super Skrull, and he's a main antagonist against the Fantastic Four. So like, I like how they're trying to set it up.
Yeah.
I just think it's too much, and Marvel definitely rushed it because DC was coming out. James Gunn is now the head producer over there. So now, if you notice during Comic-Con, Marvel came out showing out with RDJ as Doctor Doom. We got a sneak peek at Galactus. We got Fantastic Four coming out, and then you have another side of James Gunn just coming out professionally when Marvel first originally started with these videos, coming out saying, this is what we have, our new DC Studios logo. These are the movies that we're working on. We're only working on a couple on a certain period of time, making sure they're correct, comic book accurate. And we trust in James Gunn. So listen, I'm a Marvel nerd, love Marvel, love DC. If anyone I can trust with DC, it will be James Gunn.
People might hate me. I loved Zack Snyder's cuts.
Really?
So one of the things, I hated the Joker from
Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad. But if you watch the director's cut, the ending kind of saves that Joker a little bit. And so the Zack Snyder's cut with the Joker at the end kind of saves that Joker.
Interesting. Okay.
And from my understanding, Jared Leto said they cut a lot of his scenes that really built up Joker as a character. So instead of being this, frat boy, for lack of better words,
right,
he was actually a better character in the movies. They just cut out a lot of the parts. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hey, we'll see how James Gunn does the DC universe, and I think in Gunn we trust.
Yeah, let's go. So let's jump back to Deadpool.
All right, let's go.
Let's jump. Let's rank them 1 to 3.
Ooh, so Deadpool
3.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, 3 being the worst, 1 being the best.
3 being the worst. Okay, Deadpool 2 was the worst.
Okay.
Deadpool 1 was the second best.
All right.
And Deadpool 3 was the number 1 for me.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. I was going to say Deadpool 1 just brought about this different kind of movie from this hero villain arc that we haven't really seen yet.
Yep.
I mean, you have Spider-Man that's he's still a hero at the end of the day.
Yep.
But he's a little more witty, he's a little more bantery, which is good.
Yeah.
But now we go straight from the hero aspect of that to just somebody is down to do whatever.
Right.
And the Merc with the mouth. I mean, it stands out.
Yep.
And so he's just slaughtering people, witty jokes the whole time, breaking the fourth wall, true Deadpool fashion.
Yep.
And the first movie just broke everything that superhero films had kind of stood for.
Yep.
And it was such a good change that it projected into, I believe, not only look at what Disney's doing now with Marvel.
Yeah.
I can see Deadpool being in more of the movies. I mean, they were making a joke about him joining, certain things
Right.
in the movie.
Right.
And so I could see them adding more and more of him in the future.
Right.
So what to see? I know we're getting another Deadpool movie.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get another Deadpool movie. Deadpool 2 was, again, the reason why Deadpool 2 for me gets the worst out of the trilogy is that Deadpool 2 felt very Fox.
Not only felt Fox, there was no real story to it or reason for it to have happened.
Yeah, like I like the aspect of introducing Cable. If you guys don't know, the guy who plays Cable also plays Thanos.
Yep.
I didn't really like them introducing different, mutants into the realm when we were still in a kind of a weird type of world where mutants couldn't be set on movies, only with Fox. And it was kind of weird that he was part of the he made his X-Force, but it wasn't an X-Force. And then he also was in the X-Men mansion, but there was just no X-Men. So it felt kind of weird, and it felt very, hey, I have all these IPs that we're allowed to use. We're going to just put it all in here.
Yeah, I didn't understand the whole being at X Mansion and there not being anybody there.
Like,
you could at least have students.
Yeah.
Like, have random students walking around.
Yeah, you got Colossus, right? And again, there's no backstory in Colossus in Deadpool. There isn't a backstory in Colossus. He's just dropped there. Juggernaut, really no backstory there. There's just a lot of characters that just doesn't feel like they need to be there. They're just brought back because, one, now that Disney owns all of them, might as well. 2, when Fox owned them, it was like, hey, we just got all these IPs. Here you go. It very felt like Morbius at the end of Morbius. Oh, we're going to just throw the Vulture in at the end of the movie and just never do anything with them. Or Scorpion and never do anything with them.
I forget you're just now watching Game of Thrones because I was going to make a reference, but you're watching Game of Thrones now and I don't want to ruin it.
Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, no. We'll get there one day.
Yeah. I ruined House of Dragons if you ruined Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's all right.
But all right. You want to head into the movie?
Yeah, let's head into spoilers. So at this point, guys, if you don't want spoilers, I would kindly just hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, go watch the movie, come back from where you left off, and watch the rest of the way.
Spoilers.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye. All right, let's get into it. You want to start?
So yeah, let me start with the point that I was about to say before the spoilers, and it's just all of Deadpool going to try to be, and this is kind of what starts the whole movie off, is Deadpool trying to find and make sense of his life now.
Yeah.
And so he tried forever to get into the Avengers.
Yep.
Really wanted to be in the Avengers, and we have just a funny fourth wall scene.
Yeah.
That somehow you break the fourth wall, but at the same time you're still telling a narrative movie, and it's just it's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the beginning.
And so I enjoyed the beginning. I don't get the whole girlfriend part. I mean,
I don't know. In my head, right? I'm thinking that Vanessa, his love for Vanessa, eventually something's gonna happen.
Yep.
where Death, right? Death and Thanos, they don't really get along. Like Thanos loves Death, but Death doesn't love Thanos. And I could be mistaken, but I think Death also loves Deadpool. So I feel like there's they're foreshadowing something in the distant future. I might be reading too much into it, but I don't know.
I think they try to push that story a little too much instead of letting it naturally happen on its own.
Right.
Like they make a point of bringing up the contestant a lot in the movie of her leaving him, not because she didn't support him,
Right.
but because he wouldn't let her more in his life.
Right.
And he's really causing a lot of his own pain. And it's just the fact that once they told that narrative, like, cool, let it sit in the back and let people know that that's what's driving a lot of it. But don't keep saying it over and over again every time something bad happens.
True.
Like that's the problem I have with that. Is just they push that story too much.
Yeah.
Like, I get that's a lot of the reasons he's doing things.
Yeah.
But
Oh, and I mean, going back to like, a little bit about one, him trying to be the Avenger, right? And the whole reasoning when we first see Deadpool, the whole reason of him trying to join the Avengers is because he needs to.
Yep.
Not because he wants to do good for others. And again, the guy what's his name back at the Avengers headquarters. What's his name?
Happy Hogan.
Happy Hogan. So if you guys don't know Happy Hogan, he was the taxi driver or, I guess driver for Tony Stark when they first started.
Yep.
Iron Man 1. Little behind the scenes, he also is a director or producer for The Mandalorian and a couple other shows. So, great for him. And it's a de-aged Happy Hogan, by the way, because he looks definitely much older than that right now.
I mean, he's the savior of Star Wars, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, we start off with him just saying like just interviewing basically Deadpool. You're interviewing Deadpool to join the Avengers
for an Avengers position.
Yeah, for an Avengers position, you're just interviewing, and he goes, he's talking about. Deadpool 1 making these funny jokes.
Yep.
Hilarious.
The whole time.
The whole time. 2, what I felt that part of the movie was that at the beginning when he's like, I need to join the Avengers. You don't understand. My girl needs to. My girl basically needs to be proud of me. I need to do something with my life.
Yep.
Going back to Vanessa, right? It's like he's only doing this for Vanessa. He's only doing this so she can love him. And we find out later on that it's because she's no longer with him. Yep. And that's the whole reason why he tried to interview this past. And the big thing is that he kept going back in time. Yeah. So he's been trying to join the Avengers, do whatever it needs to be done to not just time skip, right, into different points of time, but also skip realities. Yep. So he's gone to, the MCU era, what is it, 616?
I think so, yeah.
And then the Fox universe is 1055, I believe.
That one I don't remember, so that's all you.
I don't know, but if I do get it right, you guys have to like the video. But he has Cable's time watch, which again I don't like how they did Cable's time watch. Dude, it's just the little things that get me annoyed.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the little things that when you read the comments that you fall in love with, and
yeah.
They change a little bit, but also at the same time, when it comes to the comics, I appreciate that a lot of the movies now are going back to more align with the comics and not stray from creative tendencies away from the comics.
Yeah,
because the comics were so good.
Yeah, they were.
How'd you like the Stan Lee cameo?
I really love that.
That was so good.
I really love that. Stan Lee, shout out, man. R.I.P.
I said I want one of two things with the cameos: either do Stan Lee in other ways, or have Deadpool stand in for Stan Lee.
Which we got both.
Yeah,
we got both.
It works.
So so moving on into after the Avengers HQ, right? Actually, before we move on, I really want to talk about some Easter eggs inside it. So
Let's go.
Inside when he's interviewing, right? If you notice, there's an Iron Man helmet behind him, but it's a toy helmet. So that toy helmet was actually the helmet that Peter Parker wore. So remember when Iron Man was fighting, I think it was the other Iron Mans, and he saved this little boy? That was actually confirmed to be Peter Parker when he was young.
Okay.
And again, just researching and watching a lot of YouTube.
He puts and this is, guys, for y'all to remember, I think it's Iron Man
2? I think he's Iron Man 2.
It's where what's his name builds all the autonomous Iron Man suits.
Yep.
And then the Russian guy
Yep.
hacks into him, and they start just blowing up and fighting and whatnot. And one of the bots are about to just obliterate Peter Parker, evidently. And Iron Man, he puts the helmet down and holds his hand out, and then Iron Man lands in front of him and shoots the bot.
Yep.
That's the point.
Yep. And he saved that, and behind of him. So you remember in No Way Home where Iron Man and Peter Parker at the end of the movie took a picture and he did like a bunny ears. Mm-hmm. So behind the Iron Man helmet is that same picture, and Tony Stark is doing the pose, and then the helmet covers Peter Parker. And the reason it covers Peter Parker is because Disney does not own the rights to Spider-Man.
Yep.
So
there's also been rumors that maybe Tom Holland not coming back as Spider-Man.
I mean, look, listen, he's getting a little bit older, right? Yep. So he's taking too long. So that's why I don't know.
Not only that, I think him as an actor, he's going on to kind of other roles. And experiencing other styles of acting because he is getting older.
Yep.
Like who else? I mean, Andrew Garfield. He was older.
Yeah, but he does a great, amazing Spider-Man.
No, I 100% agree. But that's besides the point. What about another one? There's at least one more you haven't hit on.
For Easter eggs?
This one's an easy one.
I know there's a couple. So the other one I wanted to point out was Captain America's shield. Yep. So it's half done, or not. It's incomplete. It's the first one where I think it was Iron Man 1 where he propped up a robot and just slid the iron or the shield, and they're like, "What are you doing? This is not a toy to prop up your equipment with. It's Iron Man's shield." So that's another Easter egg. There's a couple more if you. I don't know which one you want to mention.
There's the heart. Iron Man's heart was in the shot.
Yep.
And so it was from I believe Iron Man 1.
Yep.
Where it says Tony Stark does have a heart.
Yep.
It might have been Iron Man 3. It's when they switch it. He has the whole reactor and they have to switch.
It's one of the Iron Mans for sure.
And so when they have to switch out his heart and they put it in a plaque and thing, and I thought Pepper had given it to Tony, but now I guess Tony has given it to Happy to put it, or this may be just the office that Tony resides in normally.
Well,
Happy's just in his office.
At this point in time when Deadpool's getting interviewed by Happy, it's when a security breach happens. So remember when Happy was moving all of Tony's equipment from Stark Towers?
Okay, yeah.
Or Stark Towers, Jesus. So that point is when they moved out to the new HQ where you see at not Secret Wars. What's the other movie? Endgame? Is it Endgame?
It's in Endgame, yeah.
Yeah, so that is at that point, and what they're saying is that it could be that one of the break-ins could have been Peter Parker because there is no Obscorp, or is it Obs? What's the
Obscor?
Yeah, Obscor.
It's
the Green Goblin's guy.
Yeah, I think it's Obscor.
Right? Something like that, but
however you pronounce it, it's Osborn Corp.
Yeah, Osborn Corp.
His name put together.
So there's no Osborn in the MCU. So they're saying that a spider got released in Tony Stark's tower, and that's how he got bit, and that's why the break-in happened. So at that point in time, you see it. And another clue is that on the back behind Happy, there's a Forbes magazine featuring Pepper. And I think it was during Iron Man 2/Iron Man 3 when Tony Stark gave the company to Pepper.
Yep.
So we're in that time period right now.
Okay. So it's further. Okay. This is why I need to watch the movie again, because the first time I watch movies, it's just very much
Look, listen, 100%. I'm right there with you. I'm just so fixated about these damn things of Marvel that I've been watching Easter egg videos and hopefully providing more information for everyone here.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like having you here, because I got you when it comes to Star Wars, Halo, and some of those IPs, but Marvel, I just never really got into superheroes, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, I don't hate me. I don't like superheroes that much.
Oh wow, okay.
I don't like the idea of the superhero people that are just kind of born to be able to do things and don't really have to necessarily work for it. I like the modern day heroes. That's why I like people like Tony Stark. That's the reason I love Hawkeye.
Yeah,
because he's a modern day fucking dude.
Yeah,
with a bow and arrow.
Yep.
Who's really smart.
Yep.
I mean, and it's, all the characters I've always liked out of all these have been the modern day guy that can pull their bootstraps up and kind of get with it.
Right. Hey, I hear you there, bro. There's a lot of great heroes that, don't have superpowers. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess moving on from
Let's get into the TVA. Starting to come in.
going into TVA. So,
I mean, we kind of skipped the opening of the movie, but that's all right.
well, yeah, well, it's kind of like it kind of leads to opening.
Yeah.
So again, part of the opening of the movie was the TVA hunting Deadpool.
Yep.
And Deadpool's trying to find Wolverine, of course.
Yep.
He finds Logan,
who's
who's dead in the
Yeah.
antimanium. Antimanium? Is that whatever that liquid is? Whatever he has in his body,
Adamantium?
huh?
Say adamantium.
Yeah, that right there. That's what he has. So he has them, and his skeleton is just sitting there, bro.
It's just metal.
And it's just metal. And so like the TVA is after him. He's like, hey, Logan, what are we gonna do? Was our thing.
And he's just playing with the skull.
He's just playing with the skull and then doing the little accent that Hugh Jackman has.
I'm crikey.
Yeah, and TVA is coming after him. He goes, Wade Wilson. So his initials are WWW, and you are under arrest for messing with the time, stream or
The
whatever.
sacred timeline.
The sacred timeline. He and then I like this. I like the scene. He goes there. He puts his hands up. He goes, wait, and then he tells Logan, he goes, we're gonna fight, right?
We're gonna team up.
We're gonna-
finally we get a team up.
Yeah, finally we get a team up. And you see, he goes, breaks the fourth wall. He goes, did you know the human body has 200 and whatever bones
67?
in the 67?
No,
It has 267 bones in
206, I think.
Is it 206? 206 bones in the human body. And then he goes back to him, back to the TVA, and starts using Logan's.
He's like, I will not use my weapons.
Yeah, I will not use my weapons. And then he just kills everyone with Logan's bones.
He even pulls out his claws and fashions them on his wrist and starts using the claws.
Yeah, and part of that movie, it's like as that opening scene happens, every time he hits someone, you hear the bye bye bye, and you see he hits someone, kills someone, and then goes back to Deadpool dancing. Goes back to killing someone. Deadpool doing the NSYNC dance. Is it NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? I'm gonna get so much hate for that.
I am too.
I don't remember.
I think it's NSYNC.
I think it's NSYNC too.
It's NSYNC.
If we mess up, I'm sorry.
Never into the boy band. Sorry.
Yeah. But so it's basically when he, like Zach mentioned, when he starts hitting or starts putting Wolverine's claws, we get the opening scene of Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie title.
Yep.
And he basically, you ever remember those memes like, you're wondering how I got here?
Yep. That's exactly what it was.
And we have that scene. Well, let me tell you a story. And the camera goes from the front all the way to his ass. Into his ass to recap the movie and how he got here.
And then that's when we get the whole interview with Happy, and then it leaves back to this, and now we're fighting.
Yep, and now we're fighting.
And so it's like a little circle at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
To get back to it. And so the one part I really liked is when he's using the claws, and this just to me paints the character for Wolverine too. The claws get stuck in people. And he can't get them out because he hasn't used them before.
Right.
So it just shows how much Logan has become accustomed to fighting with them. And we see Logan using them to crawl on the ground and use them to project his whole body forward. Yet, Deadpool gets stuck in a body and he can't get it out.
Right.
So it just shows how strong Wolverine is, because Deadpool's pretty strong, but he can't tear the claws through somebody.
Right. And I really like with Wolverine, like you mentioned, right, is that he's been so accustomed to use these that it's just flawless for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, leading into now he's killed all the TVA.
Wolverine's dead.
Wolverine's dead. He gets not kidnapped, but I think someone from behind from the TVA drags him into the TVA.
Yep.
And he's basically saying, why am I here? What's going on? And he's just making so many jokes in old Deadpool fashion. He's just making jokes about the whole time. And he gets kidnapped by Paradox, which is a rogue TVA agent.
Shout out Paradox Customs.
he gets kidnapped by Paradox, and no one in the TVA knows that Paradox is doing this. This is basically a Black Ops, not on the books, TVA.
Yep.
And he starts telling, Deadpool, like, hey, your branch is dying. I can help you be the hero that you always wanted to be.
Yep.
And this is how. And it reminds me a little bit of the is it Wizard of Oz. If you know,
yep.
a lot of movies have been Wizard of Oz friendly, but it's like you start off with, wanting to be something bigger. You get to the point that you're making a wish, and then you meet someone who can grant you a wish, and then you get the fight. Like, it's where Wizard of Oz.
Then gives them a new suit.
Yeah, it gives them a new suit.
With a good old ass smack.
It's a bunch of ass smacks and fondling. A bunch of ball fondling ass smacks. An old Deadpool fashion. And he walks out, and it's Ryan Reynolds just playing Deadpool as Deadpool playing Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Like, he walks out just like in like the stride he's walking out with and the confidence that he's walking out with. It reminds me of Deadpool. So
question. So I forgot to ask this. In the opening scene, do you think that was Ryan Reynolds dancing, or do you think that was a stunt double?
So when I first watched the movie, I thought it was Ryan Reynolds. After the fact that I did my research, I knew it wasn't Ryan Reynolds.
I was thinking it was a stunt double.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan, you ain't got moves like that.
It was actually it was a stunt double. It was like a dancer that's well known, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, because his moves were killer.
He was on point.
Yeah. But yeah, so now that he has a new suit, we get into he's like, well, I'm gonna kill your whole your timeline, basically.
Yeah.
And Deadpool's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And he's like, well, this is the only way. How? This and that. He shows him videos of all the other timelines. And the one video, and we'll go throughout the video of this, of him seeing Deadpool seeing himself, half of his mask torn off, lying on the ground, very similar to what Tony Stark, when Tony Stark was dying and Spider-Man was holding him. It's Thor holding him.
Yeah.
And he goes, is that fucking Thor? He's like, why is he holding me? Paradox goes, oh, that's in the distant future. Not now. Not now.
You don't need to know about it now.
Yeah, you don't need to know about it now. And then, he's talking about this whole timeline things and, how his timeline is going to be erased. Deadpool just doesn't want that to happen. And he's basically telling him there's an anchor point in every single timeline, that if the anchor point does not exist in that timeline, the timeline will get pruned, basically. Yep. And Deadpool's reaction, well, I'm gonna steal this guy's.
Well, it's not even that either. It's the timeline will start slowly dying because they don't prune anymore.
Oh, right.
And then he's like, well, how long? He's like, oh, thousands of years. But I'm not gonna wait on that.
Right. And again, Paradox being very off the book, he agrees with pruning people. He agrees with the old TVA, and the new TVA is very From Loki. So this is after Loki season 2, where now Loki is the god of stories now, and he's controlling all the timelines. But he doesn't see Paradox doing it. Maybe he doesn't as part of the storyline, right? Paradox, you know what? I don't like this. I'm doing it myself. I agree with pruning. I agree with, just get it out of the way now.
Yep.
And, Deadpool, making jokes and also being very seriously, steal his TemPad, headbutts Paradox and steal his TemPad. And then as he goes down, we have a little music happening of the TVA agent with the cup. And to kind of preface of what's happening, why it's so funny, is that you see that guy right there? He wants some ass. He wants my ass, basically. Yep. And we get a scene of him falling with the TemPad into the agent's, TVA's agent's, face of his ass just falling in. Yep. And you see the TVA agent just smiling, just grinning. It's so hilarious. And then at the very last second, the door opens or the portal opens and closes. And then he lands to go find Logan
or Wolverine.
And then the first one I think was is that comic book accurate Logan?
I don't know.
So the first one, when he's going through he's finding the anchor
I'm trying
point.
to remember which one he went to first.
I think it was the short one.
Oh yeah. It was the short one.
It was the short one. It was that's comic book accurate Logan Wolverine. And he's like, that's the guy. He goes, yeah. And he just stepping, it's comic book accurate.
He's like 5 foot even.
Yep.
5'2".
Well, the reason they did that, I mean, Ryan Reynolds just pays so close attention. The fans are like, we need an accurate comic book, this and that. This is what happens when we get accurate comic book size people.
Deadpool makes fun of them.
Yeah, like, what are you doing right now? So, you know, that's not the right Logan. And then we go, I think the next Logan after that, I believe is...
So the one working on the motorcycle?
No, it's the eye patch.
Oh, yeah. Playing cards.
Playing cards. And again, that's based off the comic books. There's a comic book just that he is very 007 James Bond looking Wolverine and wrong Logan. And then we get another one. I don't know if it was the motorcycle. I think it was a motorcycle. There's a couple that just stand in my mind right now. And it could be very inaccurate. It could be, you know, the first one was, if you guys haven't watched the movie, you guys need to go watch the movie. Okay. But the one that we get was, in very much fan service, was Henry Cavill as Wolverine. And he goes, the biceps, the hair, this is, and he looks at him, he goes, don't worry, we'll treat you so much better than those shitbags down the street.
Just perfect.
It's perfect. I really like Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
I was there for it. Yeah. I think we talked. Was Henry Cavill one of the ones we talked about being Wolverine?
Yeah.
Well, we got him. I'm not disappointed. I'm about to say some of the people we talked about, I knew I was going to be disappointed. I think I even said in the episode I was going to be disappointed if that was who it was. But yeah. No, Henry Cavill Wolverine, I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too. And with the cigar, he definitely screamed Wolverine. I hope we utilize him.
But you know, that's back to Henry Cavill is a huge ass nerd.
Yeah.
So he is like Ryan Reynolds. He's going to keep it accurate to the character. He knows how the character acts, how he walks, mannerisms, whole 9 yards.
Yep.
It's the reason The Witcher was so good.
Yep.
So when you put him in these comic book sources, he's going to do comic book, not what creative whatever.
And I like how he just punches them like, you know, like get out. The next one that he finds is a comic book color accurate Wolverine in the forest, which is the black or the brown and black suit. Yep. But you know, he's Wolverine's like, this is the wrong Wolverine. And he gets mad and he goes, another Easter egg. He opens up his claws and you see the reflection of the Hulk. So the Hulk, the comic book says Wolverine versus Hulk, and that's a major comic book, you know, that everyone should go read. And he gets mad at Wolverine. He goes, "Oh, this is the wrong one." And Hulk comes in, and we get a glimpse of the Hulk. He goes, boom! And he just hits Deadpool into the tree.
Yeah,
I really like that one. And then after that, I think we finally get the one that's in the bar.
Yeah, we actually get the Hugh Jackman.
The Hugh Jackman, yep. And if you notice, it opens up the scene with Hugh Jackman or Wolverine at the bar asking for more, you know, liquor.
It reminded me of the original bar that we see from the very first X-Men. So we first meet like Wolverine and Logan in a cinematic TV live action movie. It's the same bar.
You know what's crazy? Even the game that's coming out, Wolverine, in the trailer, he has the hat on. It's the same bar. It's the same scene, same bar, everything. So I feel like the bar scene is an anchor point or a point.
Wolverine.
Yeah, or a point in time that's for Wolverine that he's always gonna be led to that bar.
You know what I kind of wish was there? If that's an anchor point, what else could we have had there? Maybe we have to go back and watch. We may have missed it.
Sabretooth?
No, if that's an anchor point, there could be the Watcher there.
There could be a Watcher, yep.
And we just didn't see it the first walkthrough. So I would love to go back, and I would love if they would have put that there. Because that would confirm that that's an anchor point for Wolverine.
Yep. And yeah, that would have been dope. And I think we saw a couple. I don't know what show. It was the X-Men '97. I think the Watcher was there.
Yep.
Spoilers. Go watch X-Men.
Or go watch our breakdown.
Yeah, or go watch our breakdown. So we finally get Deadpool meeting Wolverine. And Wolverine doesn't want. He's like, he's basically mopey.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to do anything. I got my team killed. I'm just at this point, I'm killing people, whoever I think deserves it. Very not Wolverine-ish. And you know, Deadpool's like, you're coming with me. And he goes, you know, him and Deadpool are already, you know, butting heads. And I like that Deadpool pulls out his gun and he says, smile for the Flash.
So it says smile, wait for the Flash.
Oh, wait, yeah, smile, wait for the Flash. And Wolverine smiles, grabs the barrel, and he goes, hold on. and he grabs the liquor and starts drinking it all the way. He goes, "Thirsty much, huh?" And he keeps drinking, and he goes, "Okay, we're ready," and passes out. He goes, "This is what we're doing," and he checks Wolverine. He goes, "Oh, blue and yellow suit. It only took 25 years."
Hey, I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. And then now we get accurate Wolverine in the costume, and Deadpool drags him back to the TVA.
Well, we get most of the costume.
Most of the costume.
Yeah. And then we go back to the TVA.
And we go back to the TVA.
And when we get to TVA, we're back with Paradox. Yep. And he just throws Logan up to Paradox. Like, all right, here's your anchor point.
Yep.
Here's your replacement anchor point. And Paradox is like, nah, that's not going to work. That's not the anchor point for the timeline because this Logan doesn't belong in this timeline.
He's basically said, he just laughed at him. He's like, you really thought that this Wolverine is the anchor point to save your universe? If not only this Wolverine, but you brought me the worst Wolverine there is. He's like, what are you talking about? He goes, this is not the anchor point. And he goes, you really thought that you and Wolverine were the anchor? You were the anchor point? Like, what are you talking about?
He's Marvel Jesus, dude.
Yeah. He's like, I'm Marvel Jesus. And it's hilarious to like, he's like, no, you're wrong, you know? And so we get to what happens after. Refresh my memory. What happens after when
they get pruned?
Oh yeah, then they get pruned. They get upset and they get pruned. They get sent to what's that world?
Basically purgatory.
Yeah. But there's a name for it.
I forget the name.
I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. Go watch the movie. But
bad with names. You know, we've only had it in Loki season 2 and now in Deadpool 3.
So they get pruned. They get into this world, basically of them just dying. And we see them just like, Deadpool from the overshot view, just laying there. Wolverine's laying there. If you notice, again, Easter egg on the right hand side of Deadpool, there's a Secret Wars comic book. Mm-hmm. Tells a lot. Why is it there? There's a lot of random stuff there. There's the Fantastic Four cars there. There's the
actually, I think they call it the end of time.
Maybe
because it's where
the end of time is where
that's
Loki is.
Where King and Loki is.
Yeah. So,
but you get to the end of time through there.
Yeah. Yep. So we get into a scene where there's all these things are just in there. So the Fantastic Four cars there. We get the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge from the X-Men when Magneto broke it off. We get that there. There's a lot of different things, right? There's the Fox logo.
Yeah, Fox 20th Century Fox logo.
Yep.
From like the 2000s movies.
Yep. And then we get a scene which I really enjoyed of Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Yep.
And they're basically just fighting each other out. And it's like they both can regenerate. Mm-hmm. So it's just like basically just punching each other.
It's pretty much useless.
Yeah, it's just useless. But we get the scene of they're like, all right, let's fucking go, right? And Wolverine comes out crawling, which we get. I mean, that's how Wolverine fights. We've never seen Wolverine in all the X-Men fight like that.
And this is back to where he's using his claws on the ground to pull himself forward in that kind of stance. And we see it in the shows, in the animated shows, but not real life. And the fact that they had Hugh Jackman, like, it's probably not him, it's probably a stunt double, but whoever they had the stunt double, that was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was fun. It was great. I love that he jumped and just tried slashing it, and then he did like a little twister. And again, shout out Marvel vs. Capcom. That's one of his moves, the little twister. He gets on the ground and just hits you with his claws and twists up. Yep. So like, I love that they're paying attention to this, these small details. Mm-hmm. But then I love that when Deadpool's fighting Wolverine and his sword like gets out of him, like he hits his claws basically and knocks his sword away. He tries to go get the sword back, and we get a still shot image of the Deadpool logos on the actual katanas.
Yeah,
that was pretty dope too.
Yeah, I'm here for it. It's just that little attention to detail.
You know what I also love too? Baby knife. Baby knife. Every time. Baby knife. He kept stabbing him. Baby knife. I loved it. I mean, it was just amazing. And they basically just fight each other out until one of the heroes comes out. Yeah, it makes an appearance.
You want to talk about this one?
You could talk about it.
You get a lot of ass in this movie.
Yep.
And so we had we thought we were getting another ass.
Yep.
But surprisingly, turned instead of Captain America's ass, we get Johnny. What's his last name?
Johnny Storm.
Storm. We get Johnny Storm, aka Human Torch.
Yep.
It just the whole theater when we were sitting there, like even from the back and the way the shot was shot.
Yep.
You thought it was Captain America.
I thought it was Captain America. And I was like, cool, we have Captain America coming back, you know. And Deadpool's like, oh my god, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. He goes,
Flame on.
Yeah, he goes, flame on. He goes,
just
what?
takes off.
He just takes off. You hear the whole movie theater just go, oh my god, right? Yeah. And he takes off and he's fighting, the bad guys that are coming in.
Which one of them is Toad?
Pyro. You have a bunch of other ones from Sabretooth, all from the other X-Men movies. And Pyro, so they're fighting and it takes 2 seconds to take his flame away. And he falls down and hits his nuts on the rail and it hits his head on another rail. So we got a oh my god moment and oh shit.
Just fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the one thing I knew it wasn't Captain America is when he took everything out, he was very small compared to how they had him as Captain America. Like Captain America, he's bulky and bigger than life. And then as Johnny Storm, he's smaller, leaner.
Yep.
Like he eats a lot, and they make it a point for his flame. He takes a lot of calories, and he's constantly eating.
Yep.
And so he's a smaller guy.
Yep.
And so that was the key little note when I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's Johnny.
Yeah. I listen. That was dope cameo.
Yeah.
And then we get into Sabretooth, a very anticlimactic battle between Sabretooth and Wolverine.
Which is kind of how we saw it going anyway.
Yeah. And this is the original Sabretooth, by the way.
Yep. From the original X-Men movie.
Yep.
Again.
And, in the background, you have Wolverine still with the katanas and the baby knife stuck to him.
Baby knife.
Baby knife. And you have, Deadpool, he goes, listen, the audience has been waiting for this moment for the last couple years.
25 years.
Yeah,
or something
25 years. This is your arch nemesis. He goes, look at you. What's wrong with you? He goes, so we need to get you right. Give me this. And then when he pulls baby knife, and he's like, get ready. You're going to fight. And Sabretooth is like, basically, let's fight. And we're like, oh my God, we're going to get a battle. We get a 2-second battle of them clashing together.
It's definitely like a samurai standoff of like just run slash.
Yeah.
Wait half a second.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
And that's it. And then we get Sabretooth's head fall off. And he goes, look, it's your queen.
Fucking Deadpool.
Deadpool is hilarious, man. But at the end of it, they get captured by I'll say the anti-Avengers for right now because we don't know the name of them. But if you look at the flag on their cars, it's the Avengers flag with the anti logo on it.
Yeah.
So
it's anti-Avengers.
Anti-Avengers for now. So they're on their way to meet something Nova. Cassandra Nova, which is the twin baby sister of Charles Xavier, which in the comics, they fought in the womb. Charles made it out. This one's a lot meaner, a lot more angrier. And they get taken to the headquarters, which is Ant-Man's skeleton, which is Giant Man.
Giant Ant-Man skeleton, yeah.
Yeah. And, the way to open the gates is through his hands. And you see characters from, I think it's Ezekiel, or it's the one that can teleport like Nightcrawler. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah, I forget his name.
You see Juggernaut, which is actually played not by the original actor.
It's not?
It's not.
Oh, man, he looked really close to him.
He looked really close, but it wasn't. It was actually someone else because he didn't come back.
They did a good job casting them.
Yep. And you have a bunch of you have, I forgot, the lady with the fingernails. You have her back.
It's a lot of mutants.
It's a lot of mutants from the old X-Men movies. And then, we have still going back and forth of Cassandra Nova talking to Deadpool and Wolverine.
And the whole time, before they even meet her, they told Deadpool, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't talk a lot. She don't like when people talk a lot.
Yep. And on the way there, we're talking. And which later in the video, we get to
we'll get there.
We'll get there. So, she starts talking about, how this is my world. I choose to be here, this and that. And then Deadpool, Wolverine, and Johnny Storm.
Yep.
Deadpool basically outs Johnny Storm. He goes, he called you this, and that you can lick the cinnamon off his rings and whatever. And she just looks at him. And he goes, is that true? And he goes, no, why would I say that? He's lying. And in mid-conversation, she just takes the flesh
off his skin.
And he winks or blinks once, and then his bones just disintegrate.
It's all of his organs just fall.
Yep.
All his bones. And that was
crazy. And then they get into a little, fight of, hey, if you're not going to join us, you're basically against us. And Goliath is coming in, so you can't be fed to Goliath.
Yep, we're just going to feed you.
We're just going to feed you to Goliath.
Yep.
And Deadpool and Wolverine like, oh, no, you're not. I'm getting out of here.
Yep.
And they find a leg that it has like rockets, which I think comes from Iron Man's suits, to be honest with you.
Was it Iron Man suits or is it one of the Sentinel boots?
See, that's the other thing I thought. It was like a Sentinel boot or Iron Man suit, whatever, right?
See, I thought it was a Sentinel boot, to be honest.
Yeah, same. That's what I thought too originally. So Wolverine's like, hey, Deadpool, hop on. So we're leaving. So they start leaving. We see a little. Have you watched Looney Tunes of when the coyote has a rock and hits? Yeah, we get the little into like the mountain, and we meet Dogpool.
Dogpool, yeah.
Dogpool that comes in and goes, oh my gosh, what is that? And he has his little tongue, which is the ugliest dog in Britain.
Yeah, awarded the ugliest dog in Britain.
Yep. Which he starts French kissing him through the mask, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I was watching an interview last night where Ryan Reynolds was talking about that, and he's like, I had to kiss the dog. And like all this crap they were putting in his mouth to try to get the dog to like lick his mouth, what it ended up being was salmon paste.
Ew.
And he's like, can you imagine the first thing in the morning we were shooting at 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. The first thing in the morning they put in my mouth is salmon paste.
That's gross.
To get this dog to lick my mouth.
That's gross.
And I'm like, it was already bad enough.
Right.
But,
that's disgusting. And yeah, that's great. And we get to meet Dogpool, and then we get to meet Nicepool, which is a very
Rip.
Yeah, which is a very Ryan Reynolds
Has great hair.
Great hair, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, phenomenal hair.
He's just very nice. And basically, they're talking about the Deadpool core and, trying to get to the Outlands. And he's like, well, I got a car you can have. And it's I think it's a Honda Civic.
The Honda
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Honda Odyssey. And shout out Honda. I guess they played so much for that ad, man. Deadpool's like, this is terrible. They only made the Honda Odyssey for this, and that. And is just shitting on Honda the whole time.
You forgot about the Golden Deagles, man.
Oh, yeah. Nicepool having Golden Deagles, which Deadpool wants. We'll see. But so they headed over to get the Honda Odyssey, and they start heading over into the forest.
Yep.
And then we get a shot of Deadpool versus Wolverine inside the Honda Odyssey.
This reminds me of the car boxing or whatever, car MMA that they do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they just totally ripped off this actual sport that's not really a sport.
Yeah, and the big reason why they're fighting is because Deadpool is promising that Wolverine that Cassandra or the TVA can restore his reality or his timeline, which in reality they can't. It's a wish. It's a educated wish. And Wolverine just gets pissed. He goes, you promised me through an educated wish?
Yep.
And then he goes, you must be the most idiotic person I've ever met. God to put you on this earth to despite others and whatever, right?
Yep.
And Deadpool's like, that's not very nice for you to say. And they just start fighting.
Yeah, just straight into a fight that they made it seem like it lasted all day. I mean,
yeah.
By the time they both kind of just pass out for whatever reason,
yep,
there's blood all over the inside, all over the outside. All the windows are broken. There's dents everywhere.
Deadpool's tied up into like seat belts.
Yeah.
Wolverine's just sitting there all messed up, and they get taken away because they're sleeping.
Yeah. I think we just see the boots, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we just see the boots, and we just see them driving away. And then we get an opening scene of Deadpool waking up and goes, Thor! And he's like, he's like, you know, again, going back to the flashback of he's having these dreams of Thor because of what he watched, right? And going back to Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, again, remember, watching, dreaming in the reality is actually a reality of a different timeline. So in this, in the MCU, it's every time you are dreaming about yourself, it's a different timeline that is actually happening. And he goes, Thor! And then we see him and Wolverine. Wolverine's just drinking again.
Found some alcohol somewhere.
Found some alcohol somewhere.
Was another ad placement though. It was Jack Daniels that he was drinking.
Yep, these damn ads. You know, he's drinking Jack Daniels. He's talking to Wolverine. Wolverine's still pissed at him for lying. And then we have some intense music coming in.
Yep.
And we see Elektra from the original Daredevil.
Yep.
And then we see Blade.
Yeah, that one I was not ready for.
Wesley Snipes, that's
Blade,
crazy. And then
he makes the joke like there's only one.
Yeah, there's only one
Blade.
And you can have the third one.
And the third
your
one,
boy.
Fuck, dude. We had talked about this in one of the episodes of X-Men 97.
We did.
We got Gambit.
Yep.
And you know, I would like the character if he just did not say a word. Because the fighting scene later on was great to watch. But we get fucking Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Yep.
And this whole fucking accent. And I know it was a bit. That's all it was a bit for the whole fucking movie. Because Daredevil even said, or Deadpool even says, like, breaking the fourth wall, who is your dialect coach? Like, it's ass.
Well, here's the thing, right, is that, well, so kind of moving forward to the fourth person, right, and having X-23, right, come back, and you know, just finishing off that roster, Gambit, listen, I understand that you probably didn't like when he was talking, but it was very Louisiana. You couldn't understand him.
No, he was mumbling. There's a difference between having a Louisiana you can't understand because it's heavy bayou.
But remember, when he first got picked up by the X-Men, that's how he spoke.
He did say Cherie.
Yeah, he did say Cherie.
Is it bayou?
Yeah, so it's like...
So if they had it more like the bayou, like it's the slow words and coming from the bayou.
Well, remember...
It would have been great, but
that's how he talked when he first got part of the X-Men.
He sounded like fucking Dale from King of the Hill. I'm gonna tell you, man.
I don't know, man. I like Gambit. I think he was dope. I think the costume could be improved on just a little bit more. Has a thick ass neck. The neck.
The hair was a little off too.
Yeah.
Gambit has a little more reddish tint to the hair. They could have added a little hair dye and spiked it a little bit more.
It was cool to add him. You know, Channing Tatum getting his Gambit, right?
Now, I do appreciate the attention to the card detail and the animation of the cards. That part was great.
Yep.
It's literally just the voice that I had problems with. And it wasn't even really his accent either. It was them, like I said, he sounded like Dale from King of the Hill.
Yep.
It's too much mumbling. If they would have pronounced a little bit more, because it's hard. It's like listening to an Irish guy talk at a bar that's been drinking. They stumble over words, and you can hardly understand Irish people, but if you know it, you can tell what they're saying. They're saying actual words. I'm sorry. I listened to people from Louisiana talk. That was just fucking mumbling.
Just appreciate that you got Gambit on the big screen. Appreciate you got Gambit.
They did a whole bit on his accent.
That's Gambit for you.
No, that's Deadpool. That was Ryan Reynolds. Fuck yeah.
Hey, we got a team up, right?
Yep.
Heading over to now, we got a team that they're gonna go fight Cassandra Nova. They're gonna go kill her, basically, or just
Deadpool actually being a leader.
Deadpool actually being a leader, and doing things the right way. So they're on the way. They're like, we're gonna go fuck them up, basically. Yep. And then I love the scene of bringing back to Wesley Snipes. He's like, hand me the rocket launcher, and he goes. Deadpool says something. He goes, there's only one blade, and there will only be one blade.
Yep.
And he just launched it. Again, I'm happy that Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes got over their feud because obviously they worked on the Blade. I think it was 2 or 3, and they didn't get along during that scene, all that movie process. So it's great to see them back. But we get a scene of just blowing up shit. They're fighting all the other bad mutants. We get Gambit doing not only his rod, But everything, his whole moveset.
I love seeing the whole moveset coming out of Gambit in that fight.
That was dope for Gambit. We have Elektra, which kind of random. Elektra, I don't know why she was part of the movie. I think that, it's
just a callback.
Just a callback, but
they might have ran out of people and they're like, we need one more. Let's throw Elektra in there. I don't know.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's so many cool people.
There were so many cool people they could have brought back.
Like,
The Thing.
I mean, we heard in the movie theater, I think somebody was yelling out Magneto the whole time.
Magneto, which a callback. He goes, "Is it Magneto?" We kind of backtracking a little bit. He goes, "The fourth person, is it Magneto?" He goes, "Blade's like, Magneto's dead." He goes, "Oh, Disney, now you want to get cheap." And leading back to Magneto's dead, he's also, So, yeah. If you haven't watched, X-Men 97, go watch X-Men 97. Going back to the fight scene, we get a moveset of Elektra, Gambit, Blade fucking being dope. And he's like, I got these motherfuckers on ice skates. And the same exact shit that he said on his movie. So that was dope to see. Yep. X-23, of course, slashing Juggernauts.
All grown up.
Yeah, all grown up. Slashing Juggernauts like Achilles. And that was nasty. And they're trying to get Juggernaut's helmet to Deadpool and Wolverine that's fighting Cassandra Nova right now. Yep. While this is happening, Cassandra Nova is basically threw away Deadpool because she just bends reality and just whatever Charles is doing, whatever powers Charles has, she has as well. But it's also like in an evil way.
She doesn't limit herself like Charles does.
Yeah, she does not limit. And she has to get her hands dirty, of course. And that's the only way to actually affect it. Yeah, having those fingers in their heads and that was disgusting. But we get to a point that they're fighting. Cassandra Nova's finger is deep into Wolverine's head and trying to get Wolverine to just be sad about his X-Men dying because he's the one who he was away from the bar. He was away from the mansion. He went to a bar to go drink. Bad people came in, which we don't know who the bad people were that killed the X-Men. They killed Jean. They killed Jean, Storm, Beast, Cyclops. All of them are dead. And he's very still depressed about that. He's like, well, I made this happen. I let this happen. And I should have. And Cassandra Nova's just leaning into it, right? Yep. But it turns out this was the whole part of the plan. He's like, Wolverine was doing that on purpose. He knew he was going to get trapped in. And we have a scene of behind it while Cassandra Nova's fingers all the way inside and dealing with trying to warp his mind. Deadpool takes Juggernaut's helmet and puts it on Cassandra Nova, and the same thing happens to her. What happens to Charles Xavier? It stops your powers. And if you guys don't know Juggernaut is the stepbrother of Professor Xavier. And the reason why he built that helmet is to not let Xavier into his head. Yep. So we get a scene of now Cassandra Nova's kind of limited.
Hear me out. I wish they'd have brought Magneto's helmet.
I know, dude. We need Magneto, and we're gonna get him. We're gonna get Magneto soon. But we get a scene of Pyro coming in. Yep. Shooting at her.
I mean, he was in talks with the TVA.
But we're guns. Like we have a gun in. Instead of just using your superpowers to burn her alive.
I mean, you had a rocket launcher. What's a gun?
Yeah, like. He's just like, okay, well, Wesley Snipes, right? We have Blade. Blade is he doesn't have super. He's a half vampire, half human. Pyro has he's like the Human Torch. Yeah, he's like he just shoots her, and then Hugh Jackson's like he punches and knocks him out. He goes, not everyone gets lines.
Doesn't even get to talk. He's just
not everyone gets speeches. Yeah, and that was hilarious. And she's dying. And we get a little callback of Professor Charles Xavier, Wolverine, having that impact on him and being there for him all the time. He tells Deadpool, take the helmet off. And Cassandra Nova, or Deadpool's like, she's going to kill us. And he's like, if we take it off, promise you won't kill us. And she goes, oh, I'm definitely going to twist your minds and put it into acid or whatever, right?
First thing I'm doing is killing you, basically.
Yeah, first thing I'm doing is killing you. And Deadpool's like, see, why are we letting this hurt go? Yep. And Wolverine's like, if Charles was here, he would not want me to kill. He would not want me to do this. And he goes, and if he was here right now and he knew that you existed, he would save you right now. And it hits her. It hits her, in the fields, and she's like, okay, I promise to not kill you. Yep. So we get the scene of finally, the helmet's taken off. She's recovering from the wounds that she has. And she goes, "For saving my life, I shall grant you a wish, and your wish is to go back home." Right. So she goes, "I had this little wizard come through, that I killed, and it's a sling from Doctor Strange. If you notice, there's the reality stone and the time stone in the sling, and that's how she's making it happen. So she gets a portal, and she goes, 'You better go though, because Goliath is coming.'"
Yep. And it's only gonna be open for like 4 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. And then you hear like this, I forgot what the song was, but you hear them just running out, which we get in the trailer of them running into the portal. And that split second is when Goliath and the portal close, and then when Goliath, we get a scene of just Goliath just coming through the camera.
Yep.
And then we get a scene of just Peter, I think his name's Peter.
Yeah.
Just talking about, selling a car to a family. We see Deadpool just, great. Well, he's like, "Oh, this is yours now. We have ribbon on." Deadpool just, boom, crashes it. Then we have Wolverine, crashes it.
And then the kid's, "Oh, it's Wolverine."
And then he's like, "And it's Deadpool." Yep. And they're talking about it, Wolverine, Deadpool being back. He goes, "Yeah, kids, get used to it. Disney's going to make him do this till he's 90.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious, dude. And then you have Peter. He's like just looking at Sonic. She goes, "Welcome back." Basically saying, this is where Deadpool is now. He's finally back. This is Deadpool.
I mean, it's what Peter's been trying to do the whole movie.
Yep.
Peter was trying to get him to put on the suit to be Deadpool the entire movie. And Deadpool is finally back.
Yep. And now, the great thing is now that they're back, they're going to the TVA, back to the underground to stop Cassandra Nova, because Cassandra Nova is now she's back in reality.
Yep.
And her thing is that Paradox has built, I forgot what it's called, but a computer-like type of thing where it's to erase all realities, whatever they want.
It's a pruner.
A pruner, right? It's a pruner for all realities that they want to prune. Yep. And Cassandra Nova comes in through the portal and goes, "Paradox, I thought we had a deal with the TVA." And she's basically saying, "Oh, well, you broke your deal, so now I'm breaking mine." Yep. And she's like, "You're going to teach me how to use this thing."
And arguably probably the strongest character currently in the MCU.
Yeah.
Stepping out of that portal.
Yeah. And it's like, again, we get a scene of her fingers in the skull and everything and the eyeballs and all this stuff. And she learns how to use it.
Puts a new meaning to mindfuck.
Yeah, literally. And then we get, a scene where she's in the actual generator thing. It's built out like antimatter and all this other shit.
Yeah, well, you have matter and antimatter.
Yeah.
So you've got both sides of what really makes up life.
Right. And we skip it. So now we get that scene, and we have Deadpool and Wolverine coming into the same subway type of, above ground, while Cassandra Nova and Paradox are underground.
Well, first she throws them through the store, and they land in the store.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then when they step out, she tells people to handle them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see Ladypool step out of the portal.
Which is played by Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Nice. Blake Lively?
Yep.
Is it Blake Lively? Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if it was Blake. I don't know. I'm just saying yep. Oh. But it was Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Pretty sure it's Blake Lively. Pretty sure. Don't quote me.
We get the Deadpool core.
I would love to have seen her kick his ass just because of how much shit they give each other on social media. It would have been funny to see her kick his ass.
Yeah. That was so dope to see. It's like her coming out. We have all the other Deadpool with just samurai sword.
What's the little skull flying one?
Headpool.
Yeah.
Headpool. You have a bunch of different Deadpools, right?
Yep.
And
you have Nice Pool.
You have Nice Pool and the Dogpool, and Dogpool. Deadpool Prime is holding Dogpool, and he's like, "Listen, you cannot tell Dogpool who to pick for their papa." he goes, "Dogpool can pick his own papa." And they're walking out and they're starting to shoot, and they go to the left side, which has a car with Dogpool, Nice Pool, Deadpool Prime, and Wolverine.
Yep.
And he's talking about how he can,
Well, Nice Pool had gotten shot.
Yeah. So nice. Yeah. Right. So Nice Pool's got shot. Deadpool basically held them in front of the shots, and it came back, and he's like, "Don't worry, you'll regenerate." He goes, What's regenerate? He goes, you have no powers? He goes, what? He goes, you didn't have no powers? And Wolverine's like, you knew he had no powers and you did it on purpose. He goes, really? You basically wanted Dogpool that bad in his golden
golden eagles?
And then he goes back and goes, listen, you will survive. You will survive, and we're gonna get you there. And he goes back and just holds them in.
Well, no, there's like a triage kit across the way.
Yeah,
at the little hot dog or the vendor stand.
Yeah, like you'll be fine over there. Yeah. And he takes him. He just all the Deadpools are just shooting him still, and he's just dying, bro.
Yeah, he's filled with holes. He's got blood just pouring out of every single hole he got shot at.
And so we get a scene where there's little Kiosh, and now he's dying. They're telling Dogpool to just stay here because, you know, he doesn't need to be involved in this. And we get the scene of Wolverine and Deadpool coming out of the kiosk with Deadpool having the golden deagles. Yep. Damn Deadpool. And basically saying to Wolverine, let's do this. And we have the epic scene.
Yeah.
You want to take it?
They just start mowing down every Deadpool on the screen, just constant.
Yes, but we get the epic scene.
Oh yeah,
of Wolverine
putting his mask on.
So
now we have the full comic book accurate
Wolverine and Deadpool fighting the Deadpool core, and we get a scene of just Wolverine doing his fighting moves, Deadpool doing his fighting moves, going through. We have the Deadpool bus where they're like doing the memes. We have a bunch of Deadpool just dying. And then finally we get to the end of it, and they all regenerate.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. And
except for Nice Bull.
Except for Nice Bull. And we get to a point that I don't think they're going to be able to handle it. They're like, what can we do? Yep. And then here comes Peter Pool. Yeah. In his scooter. And everyone's like, Peter! Peter here too? He's like, you guys know Peter? We all know Peter. We all have a Peter in our universe.
Everybody's got a Peter Pool.
Yeah. And he goes, the Peter Pool is like, don't worry, guys. He's with me. Yep. And they say he saves them. Yep. So now we get to a scene where Deadpool and Wolverine go into the underground.
Yep.
And need to get to Cassandra Nova and kill her.
For all you ladies out there, this is probably the scene you want to see.
It's probably the scene you want to see. The only way, so he was talking to Paradox, and Paradox is saying that the only way to do it is that to take matter and antimatter and rip it together at the same time. But whoever does it will 100% die. And their bodies could not regenerate, whatever, right? So we get a scene where they're under the ground talking, Deadpool and Wolverine are talking to each other. And again, we have full mask on, fucking dope. Wolverine's like, let me do this. I need to do this to save my pride of what I did to the X-Men. And Deadpool's like, basically agrees. And then he does a 360 of, nope, psych, and he just locks him out.
Very much Deadpool fashion.
Yep.
Like, you know, Wolverine makes this whole like story of like, you know, I've got nothing left to live for. You've got the whole world. You know, let me do it. I'm not going to lose anything.
Yep.
And so, but there's another point to this story that, you know, I kind of got to thinking about. Why was Logan the anchor point for this timeline? Because he sacrificed himself for X-23.
Yep.
So he became the ultimate hero, sacrificing his life for X-23. And so, you know, narratively speaking, how can you reestablish an anchor point? Wolverine gave his life willingly again.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
But Deadpool being Deadpool, he's like, he saw his opportunity to make himself the anchor point. And he's like, psych, I want to be the Marvel Jesus of this timeline.
Yeah, and, you know, I think it goes back to, like, we seen Deadpool grow up in this movie, right? It goes from, I need to be, right, Avenger, to I want to be an Avenger because of this. Yep. And we very get to see, like, and I think he quotes it, Avenger doesn't become an Avenger because he needs to be. Avenger because he's needed out there, right? Yep. So we get a scene that he takes I think it's the matter first.
Yeah.
He rips it apart and takes you know, he's trying to get to the point to the antimatter and hold it, and he can't reach.
It's just too far.
And you just hear in the background, Wolverine goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And you just hear the thudding of just the door, right, of Wolverine getting madder to the point like we get a scene of Paradox and a scene of like in the TVA of that bar going slower, slower, and slower, and Cassandra Nova is deleting all the universe, all the timelines.
Yeah, that bar is speeding up because it goes from like 80% to 81% to 76%. Then it drops to like 50%. Then it drops to like 30%. Then it's down to like 3%.
And then at that 1%, we have Wolverine coming in, grabbing the other side, and grabbing Deadpool's hands.
Yeah, he grabs Deadpool's hands and he takes his claws and he sticks his claws.
Yep.
Through the antimatter.
Yep. And so they connected the two, and at this point, the antimatter and the matter is all coming together into their bodies. Rips Wolverine's suit beside his mask.
However that makes
sense. And you have a Hugh Jackman just ripped, and Deadpool just being Deadpool, dying right now. He goes, 6 packs. It just is hilarious, man. And we get a point where they're saving reality from Cassandra Nova, and a callback. I don't know if this was meant to be, but if you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy when they all held hands and they all turned purple, it reminded me when they were trying to do that with the Power Stone. And they sacrificing each other for the greater good. And it reminded me much about that because the way it was filmed. The music was perfect music choice, but also how it was filmed in a 360 fashion, and it kept going faster and faster. And to the point now, Cassandra Nova dies, gets evaporated. And so they save the timelines. And Paradox, he gets in trouble by the main TVA girl.
Who took over in Loki season 2.
And, basically saying that Deadpool and Wolverine are dead.
You know who I wish we would have?
Who?
Is it Morbius?
Morbius from TVA?
Yeah. Would have been nice to have seen him.
It would have. And, we get to a point that she comes down and she's pissed of Paradox because she told, this is off-site. She's basically questioning him. And he goes, he's still lying. He goes, no, no.
I sent 2 agents down there because we were trying to fix this.
Yeah, and very playing innocent, right? And then the only way to prove it is by Deadpool and Wolverine, which he knows are dead. Then we get a slow motion of them coming out of Hugh Jackman again. Shirt ripped off, 6 packs, the whole 9 yards, and Deadpool coming out and just basically saying, no, we're alive. They can generate, It
was enough to kill 1, but not enough to kill 2.
Exactly. And so we get to a point now that Paradox gets under arrest. The main girl is about to send Logan back to his timeline, and Wade's like, no. Like, we need him. This is why, and she basically says, you two are going to have a good future. She goes, we'll be in touch.
Well, they also did something that's never been done before.
Yeah.
They restored the timeline.
So they're going to be, I feel in a big pillar for the TVA side of things.
I mean, if you think about it too, so we have the Marvel sacred timeline.
Yep.
We have the Fox sacred timeline. Well, now they have the Marvel / Fox sacred timeline.
Yep.
This is setting up, and I would guess, just like how Iron Man, the movie Iron Man itself set up the whole MCU. This Deadpool, I would put money on, is setting up the next wave of MCU films.
Yes. So it's setting up Secret Wars, first and foremost, but it's also setting up X-Men versus Avengers.
Yep.
So there's a comic book called X-Men versus Avengers, which we're supposed to get another Avengers movie. Yep. So if we get Avengers, because remember, we're not getting an Avengers movie until 2025 or end of 2026. There has to be something in the middle. And if there's an X-Men, and on Instagram, if you actually look, after the reveal of, Doctor Doom, there's now a handle called X-Men versus Avenger movie.
Hey. I mean, they could be doing what they did with Deadpool, too. They shot a lot of scenes to throw off people of what was actually going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, the first scene we got was, when was the last Deadpool movie?
I know the first one came out in 2016.
I think 2018 or 2019 was last. We got the one where it was like just an ad of Ryan Reynolds in a phone book, and it was like Deadpool.
Yep.
And that was the commercial, and that was like the teaser for this movie. And it's been years since that came out.
Yep.
And so since then, I think they've said they were shooting a lot of scenes like that to just throw off what they were doing. Marvel being Marvel, they have the money to do it.
Right.
And so now, now it's showing like what it actually was and the reason they were doing a lot of that. But we had to wait 4 years or so since that first commercial came out for this Deadpool.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is gonna, like you said, it's gonna set up a lot of other movies. I think I have my theories that it's gonna set up Secret Wars. I think that's actually a given. But X-Men versus Avengers is a movie I would like to see. And again, it could also mean that Secret Wars, like Fox Universe, is Universe 1066 or whatever it is, and then Universe 616 are gonna clash together to make Secret Wars happen. So we don't know.
And now we have a whole nother timeline.
We have a whole nother timeline. We end with, not really end with, but we get a picture of a scene of Deadpool and Wolverine eating shawarma. And he goes, "You know who found shawarma, right?" Avengers. And we get a call back to the first original Avengers at the end of the movie where they're all eating shawarma together.
Yep.
Then we get this final scene of X-23, Logan, Deadpool, Vanessa, Colossus, all his X-Men or his mutants from the Fox universe, just having a good old time together and just coming back to together,
being family.
And Wolverine is now part of that family, and so is X-23. And remember, part of that promise or part of the ask to the TVA agent was that, can you bring everyone else that we promised, that the 4 other people? So Gambit, Elektra, Blade, and X-23. We got X-23. Where did Gambit go? Where did Elektra go? And where did Blade go?
Yep.
So is Gambit the one that went back? Is that the one that was in X-Men 97? Or is it a whole different universe?
Well, we know that's not canon. So X-Men 97 is not canon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this Deadpool movie is canon.
Yep.
So I don't think that's the one that went back to
that universe.
That universe, no.
You just never know, right? So like we don't know what's gonna happen with Gambit.
And also, do you think they're gonna get TV shows or do you think they're gonna get movies? Because they're gonna do something with those people.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was too much hype built over this movie around those characters for them not to really do anything else.
I think Elektra was a callback to Daredevil.
Yep.
And I think that was just a one and done. I think Blade, because of the new Blade movie coming out, I think they just did it just because. I think the only character that I could see get a TV show or a movie is Gambit.
You don't think X-23?
I don't think X-23. I think X-23 is a character that's, because she's going to be part of the Young Avengers. We're getting a Young Avengers movie soon, whether it's before Secret Wars or after. She's part of that Young Avengers. So they are setting up Young Avengers. If you haven't noticed yet, with Scarlet Witch, her 2 sons, we got X-23 now. We're might be introduced to Miles Morales. So they're setting up Young Avengers slowly but surely. Yeah, so we get the final scene, and then we get a post-credit scene. Well, during the credits, we get...
this is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so we get callbacks to all of the old original X-Men movie. And that's why I think we're getting X-Men next. And why they're setting this universe up, like you said, to cross over the X-Men and the Marvel.
Yep.
Because all the end credits, that was all original X-Men. That was all Logan. That was all. We even saw the original Storm. We saw the original Charles Xavier, Magneto. We got
Rogue.
The original Rogue. We got the original Cyclops.
Yep.
And it's all behind the scenes of the filmmaking. So it wasn't even like the films themselves. It was the actors playing around behind the scenes.
Right.
And then we get Stan Lee.
Right.
And all of it. So Stan Lee made his cameo in the movie.
Yep.
And they did it in such a good way to honor who Stan Lee was. And it wasn't AI generate him somewhere in the movie. It was literally a footage from him to honor his memory.
Well, even during the movie, during the fight scene of Easter egg, when they're fighting the pole core, that bus has Stan Lee's face on it and Lee's sandwiches.
Did it?
Yep.
I missed it. See, this is what I could go back and watch now.
Yep.
And so I love them adding just the little touches from Stan Lee, since he's not able to be in the movies anymore.
Yep. But, it was great. And then we get the final scene, which is just a funny scene. Again, Johnny Storm saying that Deadpool. Johnny Storm not saying this.
Well, so in the movie, they portray as just Deadpool being Deadpool running his mouth.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, it's Deadpool like, we're gonna settle this right now before anything else.
Yep.
And he hits the rewind button on the TVA tablet, and it replays them riding it when they first get captured with Johnny Storm and Wolverine.
Yep.
And it's Johnny Storm just listing this off that Deadpool had listed off.
Yeah, it's just crazy, bro. And it was funny. It was funny. If you haven't noticed, the camera that he showed looked like remember Kevin? Kevin from She-Hulk. You watch She-Hulk?
I did.
Well, at the end of She-Hulk, she breaks because she's the only other one that kind of breaks the fourth wall. She goes into Marvel Studios, and it's Kevin Feige, but Kevin the robot.
The robot, yeah.
The robot head looked like Kevin.
Okay.
So
see, I took it more of Cassandra had just a recording thing, but that's how she actually knew it wasn't just Deadpool. But it could be just Kevin.
Fourth wall.
Yeah, could be.
So yeah, that ends the review. I think we talked a lot.
That was a lot.
I rate it a 10 out of 10. My favorite Deadpool so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 11 out of 10.
Nice.
Not only do I think it's the best Deadpool so far, I love the setup stories. So I love like Gotham for Batman.
Yeah.
I love Andor for Star Wars. Deadpool is gonna be the setup for the upcoming universe. So
I'm excited, man.
And I got Gambit. As much
and
as
got your Gambit.
As much as I hate his voice.
I got Wolverine.
You know, Channing Tatum didn't do too bad as Gambit though.
We give some props to Channing and Henry Cavill.
Yep, love Henry.
Yep.
That man, I'm excited for Warhammer coming out.
Yep.
I don't really know the Warhammer universe as much as a nerd I am.
Yep.
Never played Warhammer, so I kind of want to go into that blind. So it's a new experience for me, and don't know the backstory.
Yep.
I know some of the characters he's gonna be playing, as well as directing the show. So I'm excited for that one.
There you go.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, and guys, if this is not an ad, but if you guys are tuning in, I think this is releasing Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Yeah. By the time you are watching this, it should be since the movie just came out. There's movie theaters out there that are giving these cups and also popcorn buckets.
I think the popcorn buckets are sold out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's sold out. That's how we got it. I just thought it was cool. Pretty cool thing to have.
Yeah, I didn't bring mine. I didn't get the memo that we were bringing that. I know I got the memo we were wearing the shirts, but not the cups. You know,
it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, guys, I guess I'll close it out.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching our review / breakdown / Easter egg of Deadpool and Wolverine. If you guys want to tune in more into these videos, make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell, like the video, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. And I think hopefully it's Venom 3.
Yeah, hopefully. And if you didn't like the video, hit the down button anyway.
Yeah.
Watch it again. Like it the second time. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.